My name is Chris Kelly, and allow me to welcome all of our new Peak Fitness clients and all of our clients to this presentation on nutrition. One of the big things that I want to emphasize with nutrition is that nutrition should be made as simple as possible. In my career, one of the biggest errors that I see people making, and I certainly have done this myself, is that the more we think about whatever we're doing, like how many carbs that we have to eat per day, or like preparing food every day, the more it becomes unmanageable. The more we have to think about it, generally the less successful we are. So regardless of kind of what you decide to do after our presentation, just make sure that it's something that can be sustained. It sounds all well and good to be able to count your calories, your macros, prepare things meticulously every day, but ask yourself, do I have this time available to me? And I think the biggest thing is figuring out a strategy that doesn't work for me as your trainer to get you great results, because I can tell you to do whatever. It needs to work for you, and it needs to work for your lifestyle. It needs to be something that you can sustain. And really, as long as you're going in the right direction, it doesn't really matter how long it takes. It's more about sustainability, and that really is the key with everything that we'll talk about tonight and beyond. So our goals for this presentation are to pick a nutrition approach that either I cover in this program or in this talk, or something that that has either worked for you in the past or is something that you feel that you can commit to. The biggest thing is going into whatever program you're working with. We need to make sure that you're doing something. Okay, nutrition is 70 to 80% of it. That's going to be absolutely key. But it could be something as simple as I'm drinking 5 Cokes a day, so I'm going to cut that down to 2 Cokes a day. I mean, that's a great habit, and you'll see direct return from that because you're vastly cutting your calories. So whatever it is, make it simple and be able to stick with it. And if you do have issues, we have a couple ways to help. Number one, a lot of clients that I work with, one of the things that we recommend is to prep your food. Don't have time to prep, okay, whether that be for lunch or for dinner or whatever it may be. We work with a company called Superfit Foods, which is a local meal delivery company. I really recommend this, not just because I think they're great, but also because it's very convenient. Their meals are it's like $7 a meal, so it's very affordable. And let's say you're good for breakfast and dinner, but lunch, you're always going out, and that's kind of your disconnect. You could order your lunches from them, and you think you pay probably $10 to $12 at Chipotle, then $7 per meal. There are things that you can bring with you. You can heat up in the break room. They're pre-prepared for you. They're made fresh every week, and I think they do even deliver them to you. So it's very easy and it's very convenient. So I would highly recommend that because it plugs a hole. EatThisMuch.com is a custom meal planning program. It's something where you could go in there and you could say, I want to lose 2 pounds a week for 4 weeks. It'll give you your number of calories. It'll give you your carbohydrates. It'll calculate all of your macros for you. And most impressively, it's going to generate a custom diet for you. So you could say, I don't like olives in my diet, and I don't like carrots, okay? And I want to have kind of like a lower carb, more Atkins style of diet. Like, it'll generate that kind of thing for you. So it's very detailed, and it gives you detailed recipes, shopping lists, how you cook, all of that on a daily basis. So if that's something that if you're bored with certain foods that we recommend here, I really recommend that. That's a really good resource and something that I think will benefit you. So when we talk about our approaches, really let's get right into it. Our first approach is what is called our habits-based approach. Okay, and these 5 habits are kind of the ones that I've accumulated over my 10 years of training that I see people that are successful with weight loss do. And, this could be people that are doing lower carb diets. They could be people that are doing paleo or, the ice cream diet, anything. It really all kind of comes back to these practices because these are sustainable things. And what I want you to think about is, how many of these things am I doing right now? I mean, if you're doing everything, and you're being consistent with all of these, and you still need to lose that last 5 pounds, then I would recommend maybe like eat this much or a macro based approach, which we'll talk a little bit more about. But if you're new to this, and if none of these things are things that you do, maybe you just start here. Maybe you say to yourself, all right, so I don't get, one of the big errors that I see, particularly with women that I train that are looking to lose body fat, is not getting enough protein in. And protein, when it comes to body fat loss, is one of those things that is harder to burn off. So our body's going to use more. It's going to raise our body temperature more and therefore burn more calories in order to burn off, I guess, each piece of protein that we eat. So we can end up getting 200 to 300 more calories just from the thermogenic effect of protein, which means that I have to raise my temperature higher to burn that off during the day. And when we're talking about weight loss, that's a big return. So ask yourself, am I eating protein with each major meal right now? And with that, for a woman, that's one palm-sized serving of protein, whereas for a man, that's two. Another thing, am I eating veggies with each major meal? And, I know it's a little bit hard with breakfast, but, you can do things like omelets and that kind of thing. But the reason that veggies are so awesome is because, again, they're harder to burn off. And so the more fiber we get, the more that's going to slow down our blood sugar, the more that's going to sort of like balance out our cravings. And really, in summary, the less hungry we're going to be, and the more, again, calories our body's going to burn off this fiber and to process it through our body. And so fiber is kind of like a sponge in the sense that it takes out a lot of, it slows down the absorption of carbohydrates, which, for storage of body fat is a good thing. It helps to pick up a lot of the undesirable things in my gut, and it just has really, really good effects, keeps you regular, which, is always of interest. So veggies with each major meal, and then really as many servings of veggies as you can. I mean, for me, I would roast veggies and eat like a pound for dinner because I think they're that good. I have a really good recipe for roast veggies that I can give you. But again, you can have as much of that as you want. So if you are craving and you just want to stuff your face with something, get a little bit of calorie-free maple syrup, put them on some veggies, and eat them. I know that sounds probably disgusting, but it is actually quite good. So, how many veggies are you eating per day? And again, you can have as much as you want there, but try to get at least a few portions with each major meal. Keep a nutrition log. This is kind of step one, though I've gone up, because a nutrition log makes us mindful of what we're doing. Okay, if you don't know what you're doing, then it really didn't happen. Okay, that's the key. Like, people come into me and they're like, I ate this today, I ate that today. As a trainer, I'm paranoid. Okay, so I don't know if they're telling me the truth or not. Not that I don't believe my clients, but I've heard every excuse in the book, and frankly, I'm tired of hearing it. So I want to see it, and more importantly, I want you to see it. I want you to be able to see, because when you look at that, even though maybe we're not counting calories, you can be like, okay, man, well, yeah, I could see that I'm eating 80% carbs, or wow, I've had donuts for breakfast 3 days in a row. No wonder I'm not losing weight. And so it kind of illustrates to you kind of the patterns of where your disconnects lie. Like, let's say you're an emotional eater and you're good for the majority of the day, but you're reviewing your log and you're like, wow, look at all the times that I ate candy late at night. Just certain things like that. It's like you're a detective, and when you do stall out with your progress and you're being pretty consistent, a nutrition log really helps us to understand why. And when you're just starting out, a nutrition log helps you to be more consistent as far as the number of calories that we're eating and that kind of thing. Even if we're not counting, we usually default to a similar number. So, and that's something that I want you to, as a client, show us, when you come in, because that way we can look and we can give you our feedback as well. Habit number 4. Okay, now I'm not a big believer in cutting carbs completely. I think that carbs are of some use. Lower carbohydrate diets have been shown to cause, the loss of body fat or to contribute to that. And I do believe that there is an effect there for sure. But starchy carbs are not the worst thing in the world, okay? Especially when we're talking about working out, all right? If you are working out, and, if you're watching this presentation, you probably are, and you're going hard, you're sweating, your face is all red, you're tired, your body needs more resources to recover after that. It needs energy. And so this is the time when we can have our rice, we can have our potatoes, we can have our pasta. And that's going to be the biggest thing, is that after we work out, our body's like a sponge. It wants to suck up anything it can to help to speed our recovery process along. That's actually something that I recommend doing. If you're really, really beat up after a workout, and you're having like, chicken and vegetables and that's it, your body is beating itself up because it's so hard to digest those things. So having some rice, having some potatoes, having some pasta, they're going to help you to feel better, and they're not going to be stored as body fat at that point. They're going to be utilized as energy for rebuilding. So, I tell people you need to earn your carbs. Okay. And so after an intense workout, I'm not talking about like running the lake. I'm talking about like doing an hour of like hard ass boot camp, or an hour of strength training, or, if you are doing some cardio, 30 minutes of like high intensity interval training, like something like that, that's going to get you the effect that you want. And, if your progress does stall for whatever reason, make sure that you're subbing veggies, more veggies actually, for potatoes, rice, and pasta in your other meals. So our final habit, and this one is, again, key, is prep day, okay? And I say take time on Sunday. Generally that's when people have time. It could be any day. The biggest thing is you're taking some time, you're prepping your food, you're knowing what you're doing. At the very least, if you eat out a lot, you're looking at restaurants and saying, oh, maybe I can have this versus this. We're going to, in one of our next slides, we're going to talk about like the way a basic plate should look. Maybe if you are eating out, that'll give you a better idea. But what I like to do with prep is I'll take maybe 2 days throughout the week, and I'll say, okay, so on Sunday, I'm going to prep until Wednesday, and then on Wednesday, I'm going to prep until Saturday. And really for me, that's, doing my shopping, that's making sure that I have what I need, and that's keeping it simple. That's not to say that you put together all your meals at that time, but just have the stuff ready to go. So like when you come home from work, your veggies are chopped, or your meat is pre-cooked or whatever, and you just have to heat things up, or, your meat is at least sliced so then you can grill it out, or, you're going out to eat and you're like, okay, so I'm going to get the chicken and the vegetables, or I'm going to get this versus that. It just gives you a better idea. And then I'll prepare it until Wednesday, then I'll prep again, and there I go. So when we talk about plates, this is what we call our anytime plate. Okay, and our anytime plate is when we look at it, this is what we eat anytime. Okay, for body fat loss. Okay, so veggies are the largest portion of our meal here. Okay, we get many servings of veggies. Our second largest portion is protein, and fat is usually going to be associated with the first two. You'll get some fat as a carryover from that, but use some oil. Have a slice of avocado with that. That's perfectly fine. But this is what you can eat anytime. You go out to eat. What should your plate look like? Most restaurants are going to have veggies that you can order, but this is anytime. Now, after a workout, we're putting in our starches. Okay, so we have a more balanced serving of fruits and veggies, starches, and protein is still going to make up a lot of the plate. But you can even have more than this with the starches. If you do want to have that donut, have it after your workout. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best thing, but it will be more of a favorable result. But the biggest thing for me, earn your carbs, eat after your workout, don't deprive yourself. But that's not to say go to the buffet, but have your starchy carbs after that, just in logical order. All right, so now we're going to look at our second option. Our first option, we're just kind of following these basic habits, and you might do a hybrid of the two. But the sugar deprivation diet is a little bit more strict, okay? And so what this means is that you're going to consume 5 meals per day for 30 days, all right? You're going to eat every 2 to 3 hours. You're going to consume between 1,000 to 1,200 calories, all right? And you will walk or move over 10,000 steps a day, okay? And what I recommend, download a pedometer, an app for using Fitbit, or I'm sorry, you could use Fitbit, or you could download a pedometer app. They're free. Either way, if you're not losing weight and you're doing everything that you need to be with, working out at the gym and fitness, or I'm sorry, nutrition, but yet you're sitting all the time, we just want to increase the number of steps and just the amount that you move around. The more that you're on your feet, the more calories you're going to burn, bottom line. So, that's an important thing to think about. Now, as far as our diet goes, the first 3 days are going to consist of a detox. Okay, and what that means is that you are going to be doing basically a juicing fast. You're going to be juicing on those days. I think the only thing that you're going to be having are fruits and veggies that are juiced. All right, and that's just kind of to detox the system. To kind of reset your metabolism. In the first 3 days with that, our clients will lose 3 to 5 pounds. So it's very motivating. Definitely something that we recommend. And the thing is, let's say you cheat, on the rest of the days or whatever, you could repeat that juice fast the next week and kind of get back into caloric deprivation state. So it is useful in that sense. But beyond that, no fruit or added sugar for 21 days, okay, for the majority of our diet. If you're doing this for 30 days, that's 30 days. But people are like, oh, no, well, wait, what about fruit? Like it's healthy sugar. It's all sugar. All right, fruit, an apple is the same as a candy bar in that sense. Yes, an apple is a healthier thing than a candy bar, but it does have sugar in the same way. And so they're not the same, but they are the same in the sense that they contribute to the total sugar. So no fruit or added sugar for 21 days. Consume only foods on our shopping list. All right, you're going to get a shopping list with this presentation tonight, or whenever you come into our program, and I also feature it on one of our next slides. But you only eat things that you choose from our list, and our list is pretty big. And what I recommend, if there's like 15 items on the list of potential foods, choose 2. Go shopping for the week and prepare that stuff for the week. I mean, don't obviously buy everything, but that's going to be the key. Now, as far as cheating goes, okay, you have one cheat meal, okay, uno, and that's going to happen on Saturday night for only 2 hours. All right, so usually this is going to involve alcohol by the end of the week, but you want to just really keep it simple. Know what you're going to do. Okay, my cheat meal is an 18-ounce steak from Texas Cattle Company, 2 sweet potatoes, and a piece of pecan pie. And that is a lot, but it's my cheat, and I like it. So there. But what I don't do is say, okay, I'm going to go to Ling's Buffet, and I am going to, which is a local buffet in our town, and I'm just going to see what happens, because that never ends well. Okay, you're like 5 plates deep, and you're just like, oh, I can't breathe. It's horrible. So know what you're going to do, know what you're getting into. The more you plan this out, the better you're going to be. It's going to save you anxiety, because you go to a buffet not knowing what you're going to do, you could easily blow your week's calorie deficit if you don't plan. Okay, so that's important. You'll eat every 2 to 3 hours. I already said that. And a question I get a lot about condiments: as long as they're calorie free, they're fine. So mustard's okay, ketchup is not. Okay, if there's any added sugar in any ingredients or any added calories, for example, maltodextrin is a big one. Steer clear of that. Okay, high fructose corn syrup is in almost everything, and if there are calories in that thing, and high fructose corn syrup or maltodextrin is one of the main ingredients, then we stay away. Okay, so meal plan. Okay, what does this look like? Here's an example. And again, I want to emphasize that these are all recipes that we could provide you, but this is not I'm not telling you to eat just this stuff. I am not a nutritionist, and so that is not in my wheelhouse to do. But this is an example of what it looks like. So for breakfast, you're having a green smoothie. Okay, and that's I would just Google green smoothies and you'll get a ton of recipes, but try to limit the amount of fruit that you're having with the green smoothie. I mean, yes, make sure that you get enough to mask the greens, and it's not the worst thing in the world. Actually, it looks disgusting, but it's actually quite good if you use one of the recipes. But don't double or triple the amount of fruit. Keep in mind that a fruit smoothie or fruit juice, you're still getting a ton of sugar with that. Okay, we're not eating much, so it's not as big of a deal, but don't go willy-nilly with the fruit. Okay, be pretty judicious with that. Lunch, you're having 2 to 3 cups of veggies and a piece of fruit or a cup of fruit, and then dinner, you're having the same thing. So basically, you're waking up with your green smoothie, lunch and dinner, simple. From there, we're going back to eating. You'll notice that in our first 3 days, I allow you some fruit in your smoothies just to make them not nasty. But from there, no, nothing more. All right, so we're sticking with our recipes. We're sticking with our stuff on our shopping list at that point. Okay, so again, 5 meals, 2 snacks. So a sample meal template. Okay, how do we put our recipes together? All right, so for breakfast, I'm going to have a serving of protein and 1 to 2 servings of veggies. Okay, so spinach omelet, for example. Lunch, again, same thing. Dinner, same thing. Before your workout, scoop of protein powder. For your snacks, I call them quick snacks, and basically what you're looking at are fat or protein. So, that'd be like those 100-calorie packs of nuts are good. Oh man, some string cheese, things like that.